Yes, guys. Yes, people. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome to another episode of the Premier League Prediction Show, Season 3, Episode number 12. Now, this weekend is the last weekend before the international break, which is the last one. So, thank goodness to that because I hate international breaks. I really, really do. So, yeah, there's a huge game on Sunday and then it's Chelsea versus Manchester City, and that'll be the last game before the international break. So the Premier League will return in 2 weeks' time. So yeah, Chelsea, Man City at Stamford Bridge, big game of the weekend. It's also really good games as well. Liverpool, Brentford. I mean, can Brentford cause a shock at Anfield? Because teams find it difficult to strike against low block. Look what Chelsea, for example, struggled. Tottenham, managed to get a point, but they did struggle. And plus, they were 2-1 down at that moment before they equalized. So, yeah, I mean, there's also Wolves versus Tottenham. I mean, Tottenham got absolutely battered. It should have been more than 4 goals for Chelsea. But yeah, I mean, how they going to cope with Romero, 3-game ban? Udogie missing that game because of 2 yellow cards. Van de Ven injured, and also James Maddison. I heard that he could be out potentially until the new year, so that's not good for Tottenham. So could Chelsea be the first team to for Spurs to not be in the title race? We should wait and see. Can other players step up for those that are out of that game? 4 of them. We should wait and see. So yeah, really good games to watch, and some of them, but the big one is on Super Sunday, and I'll get to that one in just a moment. But yes, guys, and let's not forget that this weekend also is Remembrance Weekend. So this weekend there will be a 2 minute silence to reflect on those who have died during the World War II. So lest we forget and may their soul rest in peace. So yeah, and of course there will be a minute silence and there will be a trumpet horn, the usual for the World War II and remembrance. So yeah, so this weekend will be the last one, and then after that it will be back to normal. So there we go. And of course, the October was the Black History Month, so that's where the place had to take the knees. But last weekend, that is all and truly over. So yeah, it's only a minute silence, and then the game will be kicked off, and this will be the last one. So there we go. So yes, guys, before we get started, if you haven't done so already, make sure you click the subscribe button if you're new. Big up to all of you that have subscribed and watched my video, talking about the Chelsea result. Make sure you click the bell notification so I never miss any of my YouTube content. Make sure you smash a like and make sure you click the share button so that everyone is welcome to come along and give their predictions as well in the comments down below. So without further ado, let's start. So the first game is on tomorrow at lunchtime, and it's a 12:30 kickoff, and it is Wolves versus Tottenham Hotspur at Molineux. Now, this is not good if you're a Tottenham fan because we have seen big teams struggle to do well at 12:30 p.m. kickoff, like the Man United game. Even though they've won, they struggled to really, really beat Fulham, and it took the likes of Bruno Fernandes to win them that game in the last minute. So there we go. So I think Fulham were lucky because they did really good against Man United. Of course, maybe they should have been 2-0 if that goal would have stood, because I don't think because most of the players were on side, including Harry Maguire. Yes, he may gonna touch the ball, but if he was on side and he touched the ball, then I do understand that. But I didn't see him interfering with the goalkeeper or touching the ball. So it could have been 2-0 United, but it's only 1-0. But it wasn't a great performance from Man United, and they struggled. They really struggled to break and pull them down. So yeah, this is another one where you look at Chelsea, 12th kickoff, West London derby, struggled and lost. Arsenal, if Nottingham Forest would have taken those chances, Arsenal would have never won that game. You look at the Liverpool one, they could have gone down to 10 men as well, especially Konate made that challenge, guys said card. And if it was 10v10, that game Liverpool will not win. So this season, it just proves to you that many teams don't do well at trophy to big kickoff. So there we go. Whereas with Tottenham, they got two players not featuring, and most of the players are injured. So, yeah, I mean, I don't. Let's see how they can cope with those key players missing, the likes of Mickey Van de Ven, James Madison, Brennan Johnson. I heard that with Richarlison ain't back. So, yeah, this not for me. If I was a Tottenham fan, I'll be very worried. Just a bit confident, but very, very worried. So, yeah, going into this game tomorrow, especially since this game is up Monaco. I mean, you saw what Wolves did to Manchester City. They beat them 2-1. In the first half against Liverpool, they were just all over them. In the second half, they were poor, and Liverpool beat them 3-1. Who else did they face? Man United at the start of the season, they were dominating Man United. They should have won. They should have won. I don't think they deserve to lose because that should have been a penalty towards at the end, but they should have won with the amount of chances. Who else did they face? I don't think they faced Arsenal just yet. Yeah, they haven't faced Arsenal or Chelsea. So yeah, Wolves tend to do well against big teams. So that's why this game tomorrow is going to be very difficult for Tottenham. I don't know if any of the players will step up. If they do win, despite some players not featuring, then maybe Tottenham could definitely finish in the top four. But without them key players, I think Tottenham are in deep trouble. So I still think they'll finish in the top four, but I didn't predict them I didn't say that Tottenham are in definitely in the title race and they'll definitely win it. I say they'll finish in the top four and that's it. And I don't think they'll win a trophy. I could be proven wrong, but I don't think they'll win a trophy. I don't think they'll win the Premier League. But the way they improved on last season, I can see them definitely finishing Europe, maybe the Champions League for next season. So there we go. But for this game, I see them losing another one. I don't think Wolves will do what Chelsea did against Tottenham, but I think this game is gonna. But I think they will definitely win. And let's not forget that Money is a difficult place to go to. I mean, when Newcastle went there, they drew 2-2. When Aston Villa went there, it was 1-1. So that's why going to Money ain't that easy. Is a difficult place to go to. So that's why this game tomorrow, I'm gonna go for Wolves win of 2-1. I think the only goal scored is going to be Human Son, but for Wolves, I'm going to go for Wanky Chan or something like that, and Pedro Neto because he's a really good player, and I'm not sure and I think he normally plays on the right. So the question is, who's going to be playing as left back since Dogi is sent off? 2 yellow cards. So that's why this game is going to be difficult for Tottenham. They'll lose another game in a row at the punch Ange Postecoglou after he won Man of the Month 3 times in a row before the Chelsea game. So well done to him. But I feel like this game is going to be another loss to them unless he can do really well with his tactics and just change them up. Especially the Chelsea game. You're down to 9 men and you're playing a higher line. If you would have gone for like a 5-3, probably like a 5-3 formation, I believe Chelsea will not win this game because we don't know how to break teams down, especially with low block. The likes of Nottingham Forest, they went to a back five, they've won, and they kept a clean sheet. The same goes for Brentford. The only way that Tottenham could have had a decent result is they would have done what Liverpool did when they went down to 9 men, but they couldn't. Playing a high man and doing like that, that's why they're lucky there was only 4 because it could have been like 7, 8-1 or 9-1 to Chelsea if they were taking those chances. So yeah, there we go. But I don't think this game Tottenham will play a high line. I feel like maybe they'll put out the same. Maybe they'll play football like they did at the Ange Postecoglou so far this season. But if those key players out, I'm not sure if any of those players are going to be stepping up to the plate. So there we go. But so yeah, that's why this game tomorrow, I'm going to go for Wolves sort of 2-1 at Monaco. So there we go. Right, we move on into Arsenal versus Burnley. Now, of course, Burnley lost 2-0 at home against Crystal Palace. So the only win was away from home, and that was against, I think that was Luton Town. They beat them 2-1. So there we go. But for Burnley, they just don't know how to defend. They just really don't know. Whereas for Arsenal, they lost against Newcastle. That should have never happened. But they did manage to bounce back and beat Sevilla 2-0 in the Champions League. And if they beat they cannot lose to Lens. If they get a point, they only need 1 point in order for them to secure. So if they beat Lens at the Emirates Stadium, if they manage to beat both Burnley and Lens, then I think they should be happy. So yeah, for this game, I mean, I went for 5-0 also against Sheffield United, and I got that right. This one, I see another 5-0 because Burnley don't know how to defend. They don't know how to score lots of goals. This game is at the Emirates Stadium. Sheffield, so yeah, even though Vincent Kompany was the former manager of Manchester City, he just cannot play Burnley. I mean, Burnley playing really good football. Don't get me wrong, but in terms of dominating possession, getting loads of chances, putting it back to the net, they just simply cannot do that, and they just don't know how to defend. So for this game, I'm gonna go for the same score line, same prediction that I went for Sheffield United. I'm gonna go for 5-0. I don't think Aiden Keita will be in that squad, but for this one, I see maybe the likes of Leandro Trossard scoring a hat trick, Saka and Martinelli will score the other goals as well. So I think if Aiden Keita is in that squad, maybe I think he'll get another hat trick. But since he's not in that squad, I've heard, I'm going to go for Leandro Trossard to get a hat trick, but Saka to score and Martinelli to score. So it's going to be the same scoreline as what they did against Sheffield United. So 5-0, clean sheet, 3 points. And if they win that game and other teams lose, they'll be top of the table before during the international break. So yeah, so after that against Newcastle, Arsenal will definitely bounce back in the league. They'll get 3 points. They'll absolutely humiliate Burnley like they did against Sheffield United. So yeah, there we go. So 5-0 to Arsenal to be my prediction for that game tomorrow. And let's not forget, Tottenham put 5 past Arsenal. Chelsea put 4 past Burnley. So when Burnley faced big six teams, they've Man City put 3 past them. So Burnley against big teams haven't been really hasn't had a great record, like getting absolutely destroyed. So this where Arsenal will do the same thing. They will destroy Burnley. It's gonna be they put 5 past them, keep a clean sheet, and there we go. So yeah, 5-0 is going to be my prediction for that game tomorrow. Right, Crystal Palace against Everton. Now, of course, Everton dropped points against Brighton because I predict them to win 1-0, but it's actually 1-1. For Crystal Palace, they beat Burnley 2-0 at Turf Moor. So both teams, I think Crystal Palace will be confident in this game, but their home game this season hasn't been looking that great. I think the only win they've got was against Wolves, if I'm not mistaken. I really can't remember, but let me just have a quick look. What's Crystal Palace's last home game and where they got a win? Let me just have a look. Let's see. Their last home in was against Wolves. Yeah, 3-2. Yeah, 3-2. Yeah, that's the last home game. So for this game, it's so difficult to predict because Everton are looking really good and Crystal Palace looking, you know, good as well. So I thought to myself, is this game going to be a draw? Because that's what's all over my head, like a 1-1. But this game is at Selhurst Park, and but Everton has been looking good for the last couple of games. So yeah, I don't know what to predict. I would have gone for Crystal Palace win, but Everton are looking really, really good over the last couple of games. So yeah, I'm gonna go for my first four. I'm gonna go for 1-1 because it's really is difficult to predict. So yeah, I'm gonna go for a draw 1-1 because if Everton were in the bottom, then I would have gone for Crystal Palace win. But since Everton are looking good over the last couple of games, especially had that draw against Brighton where they should have won, I'm gonna go for 1-1 because this game is at Selhurst Park. It's still a difficult place to go to. So yeah, I'm gonna go for 1-1. If Everton win, then I feel like they will be above Crystal Palace on goal difference, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I'm gonna go for 1-1 because it's so difficult to predict. Like so Selhurst Park, difficult place to go to, but Everton have been looking good the last couple of games. So yeah, I'm gonna go for a draw 1-1. So that was my first four. I would have gone for Crystal Palace win, but I thought to myself, now let me not disrespect Everton because they have been looking good for the last couple of games. So yeah, 1 was going to be my prediction for that game tomorrow. Right, to move on into another game, which is at Old Trafford, and it's Manchester United versus Luton Town. Now, I have to tell you, Manchester United, I mean, 9 losses for the first time since 1973. I'm telling you, Eric Ten Hag is breaking the worst ever record for Man United, worst ever one. And in that Champions League, they lost 4-3 to Copenhagen. I mean, how on earth did they go 2-0 down, then it's 2-2, then they take the lead and they bottled it? Like, how comes? I know that many Man United fans were complaining about the VAR, which I haven't watched the game because I was so busy having to go to work. But if they got whooped by VAR, then maybe they're the reason why Man United lost. So there we go. But they lost 4-3 and they're bottom of the group. And if you note, and let me tell you something, yeah. If Man United lose to Galatasaray away from home, which I think that could happen, I feel like they will be out. I feel like they will be out because looking at the group stages for Man United, they've only had one win, and that was against Galatasaray. And that game could have been a draw if Ronaldo didn't make that save. So yeah, let me just quickly give you guys the full table. So looking at this year, plus Bayern Munich are qualified for the Champions League because they beat Galatasaray 2-1, so they are through. So yeah, so Man United, let's say if Man United lose to Galatasaray, then I still think they could have a chance to be in Europe. But if Copenhagen beats Bayern and Galatasaray beat Manchester United, then United are out. They are out of the Champions League. So there you go. So if Man United want to be in the knockout stages, they need to make sure that they need to beat Galatasaray away from home and make sure that Bayern Munich beat Copenhagen, because if they do that, Man United are on 6 points. So yeah, so Man United just need to win the next 2 games if they want to qualify for knockout stages. But do I see Man United perform this season? I haven't seen like a game where Man United haven't been, looking saucy. The only thing I will say in all competitions was Crystal Palace. That's got to be the best game so far this season. But in the league and the Champions League, I would see much of the great performances and like, comfortably beaten teams. So there we go. But yeah, listen, they faced Luton Town, which they did draw against Liverpool, but that was in kind of Road. This game is at Old Trafford. Like, if Man United, imagine, yeah, and let me look at this here because I don't want to make a mistake. But let's say if Chelsea beat Manchester City and Man United lose against Luton Town, guess what? Yeah, look, we could be above Man United because their goal difference is -4, -4 on goal difference. So if Chelsea beat Manchester City and Man United lose against Luton Town, we could be above them. We could be in 8th place, and that means, depending on the other results, we'll only be like 6 points behind the top 5. So there we go. So that's where Man United need to win this game if they have a slight chance here of finishing Europe, because I didn't expect Man United to be that bad last season. I really didn't, but they really are that bad. So Man United, I feel like they will bounce back after that defeat against Copenhagen in the Champions League. So I wanted to go for 1-0, but I thought to myself, now you know what? This game is at Old Trafford. Like, Man United need to win this game. So I'm going to go for, I know many Man United fans will not be agreeing with me on this, but I think you'll beat them 3-0. I think you will beat them 3-0 because the Old Trafford, Old Trafford is not a fortress anymore. But listen, Luton Town, yeah, are still in the bottom 3. They still are in the bottom 3. So Man United cannot afford to slip this up. They just really can't, because they lose against Luton Town. That could be the shock of the season, because we don't see many teams, in the bottom 3 facing Manchester United and beat them. The last team to do that, in the bottom 3 and beat Man United was Sheffield United in 2021 when they beat them 2-1 at Old Trafford. So surely Man United can't do the same thing against Luton Town. They just can't. They simply can't. So I'm going to go for 3-0. I feel like they need to put on a much better performance as they did against Fulham and just make sure they have to convincingly win. Otherwise, Old Trafford, it looks like it's falling down, because it used to be Stamford Bridge last season, but now it's Old Trafford this season. So yeah, I think Man United will bounce back. They will definitely get that win. So I'm going to go for 3-0, even though my first one is 1-0. But I thought to myself, nah, it's going to be 3-0 because Luton are just dead. No disrespect for them, but they're just horrible. Like, they could have won against Liverpool, but they didn't. So that's why, to me, I'm going to give Man United the advantage, and I'm going to go for 3-0. The goal scores for that game, I think Bruno Fernandes will score twice, and possibly, actually, no, White Tony will score twice, and Bruno Fernandes will score one. So that's going to be the goal scorers for Holland twice and Bruno Fernandes one. So there we go. So that's how I'm going to go for 3-0 Man United for that game tomorrow. And then, lastly, we move on into Saturday night football. at the Vitality Stadium at the South Coast in Bournemouth, and it is Bournemouth versus Newcastle United. Now, Newcastle United, I mean, they could be out of the Champions League as well because they're bottom as well. I mean, how comes they beat Arsenal, which is the first time that Arsenal lost this season, and then lose to 2-0 to Dortmund? Like, I would have thought that Newcastle, after that draw against AC Milan, and after that huge win against PSG, I thought to myself, you know what, yeah, if Newcastle keep this up, maybe they could be the dark horses. Maybe they could be qualifying for the knockout stages. But after those two losses against Dortmund, I was wrong. I was wrong because I would have thought that game against Dortmund, they would put the same performance against PSG and just won that game, but they didn't. They lost 2-1 at St. James Park and 2-0 at Germany. So there you go. So back-to-back losses for Newcastle United in the Champions League, which that never happened before. So there we go. But yeah, but for this game, that Bournemouth. Now, my first thought is that usually, usually this game could be a draw because Bournemouth did manage to get a point. Who was it? Let me have a look. No, actually, no, they got destroyed by Manchester City 6-1. So yeah, this game is at the Vitality Stadium. Of course, Newcastle's, yeah, so it's so difficult, really is difficult what to predict for this one because Bournemouth do tend to score, but they just can't find a way. So yeah, Newcastle needs to get that win because it could be if you don't beat Bournemouth, I know many Arsenal fans will be laughing at them, laughing at Bournemouth. So Newcastle, sorry. So so difficult to predict, but I'm gonna go for hmm, I'm gonna go for 2-1 because I feel like going to Vitality Stadium ain't that easy. It really, really ain't, especially when Bournemouth scored the goal. So yeah, I'm gonna go for 2-1, Newcastle United, of course. Of course, when I did beat that against Wolves, it was actually 2-2. But that because I should have realized that Wolves are better than Bournemouth. But for this one, it's going to be a tight one. I don't think that Newcastle are really going to batter Bournemouth the way Man City did. But I feel like they will get another 3 points and yeah, just still keep climbing above the table. So yeah, for this game on Saturday night, we'll go for 2-1 Newcastle United against Bournemouth. So really is difficult to predict, but yeah, I mean. Newcastle should bounce. I think they will bounce back after that 2-0 defeat against Dortmund earlier this week. So yeah, 2-1 to Newcastle is going to be my prediction. So those are Sunday's games. Let's move on into Saturday's games. Let's move on into Sunday. So the first one is Villa against Fulham. Now, of course, there's no doubt in my mind that this is a Villa win because, like I said, the home record in the Premier League has been really good, especially Europe as well. I mean, yesterday they just managed to beat AZ 2-1 at home in the Europa Conference League. So there we go. This game, I don't see none than a Villa win of 3-1 because Villa win because, yeah, like I said, Villa Park is a fortress. If I feel like their last game was their 12th home win in a row. I mean, that is absolutely crazy. Like, because before Una Emery came in, teams usually go to Villa Park and just beat them. But ever since Una Emery arrived, he just made it completely different because he looks to make you like it looks like when teams go to Villa Park, they just feel scared, to go there. So yeah, Villa Park is a fortress. So I think Fulham going to this game, they know they're not going to be confident because going to Villa Park ain't that easy. And it's a very difficult place to go to. It really, really is. So that's why for this game on Sunday, I'm going to go for 3-1 to Villa. The goal scorers, DRB to score, Ollie Walker to score twice for Fulham. I'm going to go for possibly maybe Wow Jimenez. I feel like he hasn't been doing well for Fulham this season, but I feel like he'll get to go. And I feel like that's going to be against Aston Villa. So yeah, that's why this game on Sunday, gonna go for Villa win of 3-1 against Fulham. So there we go. It's not difficult. It ain't difficult for this one. Villa are gonna get that win. If Fulham manage to beat Villa, then boy, that could be a shock. That could be a shock because, like I said, Villa Park is a fortress. It really is. But I don't think Villa are gonna do what Liverpool did and what Chelsea did, and just 4 years unbeaten and all that stuff. I don't think will happen. So there we go. But this game on Sunday, Villa are gonna get that win, get the 3 points, and if they win today like last weekend, they could have been in the top four above Arsenal and Liverpool, but they bottled that one. So yeah. So the only way for Villa to be above Liverpool and Arsenal is the fact that they need to win and make sure that both Liverpool and Arsenal lose, which I don't think it will happen. So there we go. But I think Villa could shock everyone and might actually finish in the top four, which I never expect that to happen. So there we go. So yeah, 3-1 to Villa is going to be my prediction for that game on Sunday. Right, we move on into Brighton against Sheffield United. Now, of course, Brighton, they managed to get a draw against Everton, whereas for Sheffield United, they did manage to get that first win in the Premier League season, and that was against Wolves at home. That was against Wolves at home. So yeah, but we have seen teams where they won games and then they lost. Like Luton Town, they've won Everton, but they lost their next game. Burnley, the same thing. They've won against Luton Town, but then they lost in the next game. And I think that's going to be the same thing for Sheffield United, where they won one game and when they won and then they lost the next game. So that's why this game on Sunday, I think Brighton in the last couple of games haven't been looking that great. Their only one was against Bournemouth, and that was 2 months ago. So Brentford have started to look a bit. They started off like this, but in the last couple of games, they actually looked a bit downfall. So this is where Brighton need to turn, from losses and draws into wins. So surely Brighton cannot drop points against Sheffield United. They surely can't. They surely can't. And this game is at the Amex Stadium. So yeah, that's why for this game on Sunday, I'm going to go for Brighton win of I'm gonna go for 3-0 because Sheffield United don't tend to score goals away from home. So yeah, they just don't really like the last game away from home. They didn't score against Arsenal. So yeah, so that's why for this game, surely Brighton cannot drop another points. They surely need to get that win. They really need to get that win. So that's why for this game on Sunday, I'm gonna go for a Brighton win of 3-0. The goal scorers for me, Ferguson, Ansu Fati, and Danny Welbeck. The goal scorers who I predict to score for that game against Sheffield United on Sunday at 2 p.m. kickoff. So yeah, Brighton, they will bounce back. They need to get that win, otherwise they're in deep trouble. They could further go back down the table under Robert De Zerbi. So yeah, 3-0 to Brighton is going to be my prediction for that game on Sunday. Next, we move on into a really good game on Sunday, Liverpool against Brentford. And this game is at Anfield. Now, of course, my first one is that this game could be a draw, but since this game is at Anfield, I'd wanted to go for 3-0 Liverpool, but I thought to myself, nah, it's going to be 1-0 because big six, big teams go to Brentford and they struggle to break down a low block. Look what Arsenal did in the Carabao Cup. They won 1-0, but they struggled. Tottenham drew 2-2. They struggled. Chelsea, we've lost and they struggled. Who else did they face? Yeah, they faced Man United, and they could have had they could have won if Scott McTominay didn't score those 2 goals. So Man United struggled to beat Brentford, and it took them like in the last minute to actually win that game. So yeah, but listen, this game is at Anfield. It's still a difficult place to go to, and I'm gonna go for the same scoreline as it was last season, 1-0. If Brentford managed to at least get a point or beat Liverpool, then boy oh boy, it's back-to-back losses for Liverpool because they lost last night in Toulouse in France, and they cannot afford to drop and they cannot afford to lose again. So that's why I'm gonna go for 1-0. I wanted to go for 2-0, 3-0, but I thought to myself, now Brentford, they're a team that they can just hurt and just frustrate teams. So I don't think Brentford will get the win, but I feel like they'll play a back 5-5-4-1, just struggle, frustrate Liverpool. But I think Liverpool will just maybe score in the last minute, and I think that was going to be Mo Salah. So yeah, it's going to be a really good game to watch. I'm not sure if that game is going to be live on TV. I really do doubt that, but that's going to be a really good game on Sunday to watch. So yeah, 1-0 to Liverpool is going to be my prediction for that game tomorrow. I mean on Sunday at Anfield. Then we move on into West Ham United versus Nottingham Forest. Now, of course, West Ham United didn't lose in the London Derby against Brentford, where they bottled it because they were 1-0 down, then they were 2-1 up, but they've lost 3-2. Whereas for Nottingham Forest, they did manage to get that 2-0 win against Burnley. No, sorry, Villa at City Ground. So there we go. For this game, I mean, I wanted to go for West Ham win, but I thought to myself, I mean, West Ham struggled to beat Brentford, which they had a low block. And let's not forget, Nottingham Forest do the same thing. So that's why this game is going to be interesting. Now, I wanted to go for West Ham win, but I thought to myself, now you know what? West Ham struggled against Brentford like Chelsea did, and I feel like they will struggle to break down Nottingham Forest like Chelsea did as well. So that's why I'm going to see a shock. I'm going to see a 1-0 sorry, not West Ham, but not to the Forest win because, like I said, West Ham just struggled. Yes, that was a really good game, but they lost against Brentford and now it's away from home. And let's not forget, nobody would have ever predicted Everton to beat West Ham at the London Stadium, not even me. So that's why West Ham, you know, they did well in the Europa League, managed to beat Olympiacos 1-0, but that's like the London Stadium. For this game on Sunday, I feel like they not to will frustrate them. They'll play a low block, which many other teams cannot break down, and they'll get that 1-0 win. I think and when he will score the only goal to give Nottingham Forest a huge 3 points against a very good West Ham United team. So I could see this being another shock. So that's why I'm going to go for 1-0 West Ham. I think West Ham will dominate possession, get more chance and all that stuff. But I think Nottingham Forest will frustrate West Ham United. I feel like they really will do that. So I can see another shock. 1-0 to Nottingham Forest against West Ham on Sunday for that game. So that's another interesting and also really good game to watch. So there we go. Right, the final game, the game of the weekend, a huge game, is at Stamford Bridge, 4:30 p.m. kickoff, and it's my team that supports Chelsea versus Manchester City. Now, listen, I did predict the Tottenham win, but Chelsea actually won that game. But for this game, I'm not going to change my mind. Man City are over the favourites. And guess what? That midfield is going to be key because Rodri is good. I think he's going to bust that midfield. So that's why I need Enzo to shine because that game against Tottenham, he was shocking and he was terrible. Caicedo has been phenomenal in that game against Tottenham, and I want him to do the exact same thing against Manchester City. And Conor Gallagher looked absolutely horrible in the game against Tottenham. It's his time to shine as well. There's many teams that need to shine in that game. Enzo, Conor Gallagher, Raheem Sterling, maybe Nicholas Jackson. Who else? Reece James up against Jeremy Doku. We had one going 4-6 in the last game. He has been really well, but can he handle Jeremy Doku? We shall wait and see. Other fans just need to shine. The likes of Badie Shield, I hope he gets to start in that game alongside Disasi. He needs to shine as well. And hopefully Kukwe should start as well. He needs to shine. And Robert Sanchez as well. He needs to shine. The only player who I can say that will step up and really do well is Cole Palmer against his former club, and I hope he shows to Pep Guardiola why he should never sold him to Chelsea. So Cole Palmer, keep doing what you're doing because ever since you came to Chelsea, you have been our best player. So that £40 million looks like a bargain for me. So I think Cole Palmer will be the only player who I think will have a really good game. But the rest of them, like I mentioned, they need to step up if you have a chance of beating Manchester City because in the last 8 games, ever since that Champions League final, we haven't scored against them and we've lost so many times, as if you include in the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup as well. So in the last 8 games, we haven't even scored. So hopefully that thing comes to an end. But if you want me to be honest with you, I feel like this is going to be another game where Manchester City score, win this game, and just keep another clean sheet. And let's not forget, Haaland has never scored against Chelsea, especially when he came from Manchester City last season, both home and away, including the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup as well. So hopefully our defense could do the same thing. but I feel like Arnold will definitely score against Chelsea. So yeah, I want to back my team, but if you want me to, but I've got to be real. I've got to be really, truly honest. So yeah, this game, my head is saying like 2-0, but my heart is saying 2-1 Chelsea. So to be honest, if you have to go for my head, I really have to go for my head. So for this game, I'm gonna go for I'm gonna go for Manchester City. I feel like it's another game where they just win against Chelsea, keep another clean sheet, and yeah, let me tell you something. Yeah, our last win against Manchester City in the Premier League was 2-1 in 2021. And our last game where we kept a clean sheet and scored that goal was in the Champions League final. And who was the manager for Chelsea? Thomas Tuchel, and he got sacked early. So there you go. So you can see why last season, if Thomas Tuchel came to Chelsea, I feel like we will lose against City, but I feel like in the FA Cup or maybe the Carabao Cup, I feel like you will find a way to beat Pep Guardiola. Because let's not forget, he beat them in the FA Cup semi-final and the Champions League final. So that's where Top Bunny needs to take the blame for this one. So there we go. So yeah, for this game, I'm not confident. Hopefully they'll prove me wrong like they did against Tottenham, but I have no doubt that Man City will dominate us. They will definitely beat us. They will definitely keep another clean sheet. And it's going to be another game where Chelsea can afford to get these wins at Stamford Bridge. Like one win in 12 at Stamford Bridge is unbelievable. And like I said before, Brentford have won more games at Stamford Bridge than Chelsea's entire team. So hopefully that Stamford Bridge curse could be broken in Manchester against Manchester City, but I really don't see that happening. So that's why for this game tomorrow, I'm gonna go for a 2-0 Manchester City win. So, but let's hope Chelsea can prove it wrong and just get another decent result because we have to win against big teams, but Manchester City are just they're treble winners. They're still Manchester City. They're still one of the best teams in England in the Premier League. So that's where I feel like they will be us 2-0, unfortunately. So there we go. Right. So that is my predictions for this week. Let me go through them one more time. So on Saturday's games, I've gone for Wolves 2-1 win against Tottenham Hotspur and Monaco. Lunchtime, then 3 p.m. kickoff games. I've gone for an Arsenal 5-0 win against Burnley, 1-1 draw between Crystal Palace and Everton, 3-0 Man United against Luton. Then finally on Saturday Night Football, I've gone for a Newcastle United 2-1 win against Bournemouth at the Batande Stadium. Then Sunday's game, Super Sunday, I've gone for a 3-1 Villa win against Fulham, 3-0 Brighton win against Sheffield United, 1-0 Liverpool win against Brentford, and 1-0 Nottingham Forest win against West Ham United. Those are the 2 p.m. kickoff. The last and not least, Super Sunday game of the weekend, big game. I've gone for Manchester City 2-0 win against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. So there you go, guys. That is all my Premier prediction for this weekend. And don't forget that this is the final sorry, what is going on? There we go. So yeah, don't forget, guys, that this is the final game before the international break. So hopefully Chelsea can get a good result before the international break, but I doubt that. Like I said, there's other really good games: Liverpool, Brentford, Wolves, Tottenham, some really good games before the international break. And thank God that after that, that'll be the last international break before the Euro 2024 kicks off next year. So yeah, thank goodness that this is the last international break, and then all the Premier League games and all that stuff can be relaxed. And yeah, there are going to be more games to come. So there we go. So yeah, guys, that is it. That is all my Premier predictions before the international break. Game week number 12. If I could get my numbers right, game week number 12. Let me know in the comments down below whether you agree or disagree on any of my predictions. Let me know also what's your predictions? Would you go and would you think that Chelsea are going to get that win? Tottenham will bounce back after that loss, or maybe Brentford can cause a shock. Let me know in the comments down below what's your predictions for this weekend. So yeah, don't forget, guys, on I don't think I'll be able to do a live stream for Saturday's games, but on Sunday, of course, I'll be doing the Chelsea Manchester City live watching on the match reaction after that. So make sure you stay tuned for that one. And of course, tomorrow there's going to be a match preview for that game as well. So don't miss out. It's going to be a very good videos and live streams to do for this weekend. So don't miss any of those stuff. And if you don't miss any of those stuff, don't forget to hit the bell notification. But before you do that, make sure you hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so already. If you're new to this channel on Elijah Talks Football, I have to change my channel because I don't need to put my full name because I don't want many people to catch me out. So make sure you subscribe to my new channel called Elijah Talks Football. And don't forget to tell your friends and family that my new channel is called Elijah Talks Football. Make sure you search that up. When you see the icon like you saw before, make sure you keep the subscribe button and all that stuff. And yeah, I'll be keeping you guys up to date since this channel is all talking about football since not only I cover the Chelsea segment, but I cover most of the segment in the Premier League, and not only that, many teams in Europe. So make sure you subscribe to my new channel, Elijah Talks Football. So there we go. So yeah, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video. And if you did, let me know in the comments down below. As always, have a great weekend. Catch you guys very soon. Take care of yourselves. Goodbye. God bless. And big up your damn selves. And yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. In a big people, peace.